Hello, my loves all over the world. I miss you all. I have been waiting to send something out to you all until I got a little bit more grounded, deep in my feet, and felt my wings come out wide enough to withstand all the winds here. And so I am making this little video to share a little bit about my take on what is happening. This is sourced in nothing other than, 4.5 years of tracking extensively 1 to 3 hours a day, global events, and the last 4 months of paying really acute attention since the first cases showed up in China. And all this weird shamanic stuff that happens for me and the messages that come through pretty constantly. There's not a lot of sleep. So, first of all, I hope everybody is enjoying themselves in as many ways as they can right now. My sense with this virus that I'm really seeing as an emissary of the earth, I feel like she sent out billions and billions of her soldiers like an angry mother who has said enough. And we're getting schooled. And we kind of deserve to be. Mark Maron, I watched one of his videos on Netflix. I'm really into stand-up these days. It helps. I highly encourage all stand-up. He said something, one of his lines was, we did everything we could. We brought our bags to the grocery store. And it struck me and it stuck with me. Because what this feels like is a mother who has finally used that tone that we know we need to listen to. So, this virus, this little piece of the earth, invisible, reminding us so deeply, in such a huge way, how connected we all are. When I teach, one of the things I share is, we think we're separate from nature, except that if the plants don't breathe out, we don't get to breathe in. I mean, that's not separate. There's nothing separate about that. So, the sweetness of this teacher here to remind us that we are actually one. We are one system. There is no other. There is just one. We're all parts of it. And when we learn to care for ourselves and for each other, the one becomes better and more evolved and stronger and kinder. In this situation, strength does not feel hard. Hardness feels like it will make you fall. In this situation, I call on us to understand that the root of the word courage is the ability to stand by our hearts, and that if we don't bend, we break. So I call the teachings of the sweet serpent, Amaru Sachamama, to us all. I call her fluidity in for every day, and all of her very deep healing. I also call her mastery of story, because we're writing this right now. And I think we're actually getting such a good lesson in that. I mean, we understand now scientifically that whatever we do now, whatever actions we take, will absolutely write the story for 2 weeks down the road. And that just feels like such powerful currency on so many levels. Like, what a lesson to learn. Oh, every choice impacting in such a big way. And I think we have all had our prayers answered. I mean, I've been doing this work solid nonstop for over 15 years now. I've taken the last 8 months off of privates primarily. I'm still working here and there, but to recuperate from holding so many stories and doing so many healings and doing such radical and deep personal work. To be able to show up for others. So, the teachings here. I think we need to stop. I think we've all been asking for time. I think we've all been asking for space. And when we don't have enough space or time, we get rebellious and resistant, and we start creating all sorts of stagnation in our reality. And I know I'm not the only one who experiences that, because I work with, you know, thousands of people, and they all do too. So I am excited that in the stillness that we are finding in these times, in changing our positionality in a quite literal sense, we're now staying home. I mean, we've been talking local for a long time. I mean, that's a trended word for what, 25 years at least. And now we're talking real local because we didn't listen. So I really want us as humans to take responsibility for where we're at. I think that's so important, to not be victimized in this. We lose all our power. We lose all our learning. We lose all our potential when we become victimized. That does not mean it's not hard. And there are so many people who are hurting so deeply and in so much trauma right now. So for those of us that are at home simply facing our psychological fears, I ask that we step forward and clear those efficiently and effectively, so that we can hold space for those in real trauma, those who are suffering from this disease, those who on the front lines, that are showing up, that are going to work every day, understanding that today might be the day they get a virus that could kill them. And the more virus they take in, the more likely they are to have serious effects and death. So what does that mean for all of those sweet ones on the front line? So yes, keep honoring them at 7 p.m. and cheering them on. But there is so much more every person can do. And if that's making sure that people get masks because you're willing to sew some, they might not be N95s, but maybe they are some barrier of protection. If that means starting GoFundMes, if that means tapping into your 401ks or your RRSPs and taking a bit of a financial hit to help others, do it. You are helping the whole world, and that's so significant. My gut on this virus is that we are going to be in a similar situation to what we are finding ourselves in right now until about mid-June. This has been the information coming for about 3 months. It's all psychic. There's no one I can verify that with. There's no way to say that that is true. I am simply sharing the information that has come to me. So I think by mid-June, we're going to start to be stretching our arms and legs a little bit and being able to move around a bit more. I do believe we will get a bit of a summer, a bit of a July and a bit of an August and September. And I think it's going to come back. That's my sense for next fall. So I actually want that information. I need psychologically to prepare if we're in this for what the information that's coming to me is by the end of next spring, early summer. We're going to be resolved on this somehow, though I have no idea why that information is what it is. I don't know if that will be through a vaccine, through a treatment program. I just know that this is the information that I'm getting. But I want to be prepared for that. As soon as we heard that our kids weren't going to be going to school till September, like, there's a big difference to psychologically prepare for a month of hanging out full time or the next 7 months. And I want that space. I want that preparation. I want that time. So for myself, I am preparing to be living a very local life for the next year and a half, about just over a year, probably. That's going to mean a lot of things. Work, all sorts of stuff, shifting. Ironically, probably shifting towards an arena that it has needed to for a long time, in terms of actually doing things like this and getting out and being visible in the world in a bit of a different manner, rather than just keeping it all word of mouth, which has really been the only way my practice has built over the last 15 years. And it's going to mean different things for all of us. My sense is that there is going to be about 6 months of, there's going to need to be about 6 months of holds on rents, mortgages, bills. I think they need to pause the economy. Just pause it. I think we need to feed each other, listen to each other, get really comfortable with ourselves. For all of those of you squirming alone, I invite you to face all the fears you're facing in that time, because if you are willing to see yourself through not being able to blame anyone else or anything else for not enjoying your day, getting over being bored with your own company, scared of your own thoughts, frightened of your shadow side, what you're going to get into is some of the deepest, most gifted meat of living, which is knowing who you are and understanding who you are, and having an ability to offer the best parts of yourself forward because you're aware of the parts that are in the subconscious that are hidden. So, my loves, I think this is a long haul. I am going to be doing fireside chats. I've been talking about this for about 2 years, so way to go, sweet COVID, for lighting a fire under my ass. I'm not totally sure at this point. I might actually even do something weekly, but what I'm looking at committing to is a once a month fireside chat where I'll be sharing teachings and thoughts, and if anyone has questions or concerns or comments, they can always email me beforehand and I'll explore them in those talks. My sense is there's a good possibility that it's going to be needed more frequently, so I need to hear from you guys. If this is something you want, I don't want to spend my time and energy, which feels quite precious to me, doing something that isn't of service. So if a video like this works, if you guys are interested in receiving teachings and having a place where some of maybe your concerns, your spiritual concerns, your emotional concerns, your psychological, et cetera, physical, et cetera, can be spoken to, then I'm going to show up for that. And I don't know what that'll look like. I didn't know what this talk was going to look like. But I will show up, which is all we can really do. So show up by staying home. Show up by staying in touch. Show up by showing yourself compassion you didn't even know you could create. Show up by falling in love with who you are because you're willing to do the work of getting to know yourself. This is something I have discovered through carrying the mesa and the work, is it is very hard for me to not fall in love with every human being. Because if you see right into people's souls, we are exquisite. We're a little imprint of the universe inside. And it's really our stories of each other that get in our way. So this is an invitation to master the story of your experience in this, of others, to master your story of non-judgment and love, to master your story of magic making and dreaming a new world into being. We have needed these structures to change. I mean, how in awe am I? This invisible soldier of Pachamama has done in 4 months what humans, two-leggeds, have been trying to do since the Industrial Revolution. People have been complaining about pollution, damage to the earth, since we created industrialization. This is not new. It didn't start in the 60s. There has always been advocates for the earth. And our economic system doesn't work. There's too much disparity. Like, you can't have people with so much and people with so little. It doesn't work. It's not balanced. So my friends, this is the time of Pachacudi. This is the time of Aini. Right relationship, joy, balance, and reciprocity. This is the balance. So the sooner we move ourselves personally into balance, the sooner this sweet globe that is just a big version of all of us moves into balance. The answer will always be love. The answer will always be courage, and the answer will always be showing up. So keep it simple. Love, show up and stand by your heart. Do what you can for your neighbors. Be kind to yourself. And if you want more of this stuff, if it helps you at all, please let me know. I do need to know. All of this work in the invisible world that I do, and certainly not working one-on-one with clients, I've been teaching but not working as much one-on-one with clients, has been actually quite an insecure process for me. I haven't known if I should continue doing this work. I took a break because I was so busy. So it's an interesting pendulum swing, right? And balance. So I do need to know from you if this helps, or if the teachings or the medicine wheels have helped you. You can send that through another channel, but I will be posting this on Facebook and sending it out possibly in an email.